This meeting is being recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity virtual job fair event. I would like to introduce you to Anne. Anne will tell you about the organization, about current job openings and titles that are available, and how to go about applying for those openings. Anne, feel free to take it away.
Hi, my name is Anne Holiday, and we also have Courtney Morgan here. She's in listening and watching. We are both recruiters for the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. We do have quite a few openings, and our openings are all over the state. So we have offices, we have several different offices. We have offices in Chicago, we have offices in Springfield, we have offices in Southern Illinois. So we do frequently have, a few openings going at all times. And I'm happy to direct you on how to apply for those openings, how to look for them. And we even have a QR code that we can give you that you can put on your phone, and it will take you straight to the openings for the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The first thing we'd probably want to go over, I'm sure, is working for the state of Illinois and how to apply when you're trying to work for the state of Illinois. If you look on our actual site, our booth per se, if you look at down at the bottom, there are different things that you can click on to take you to our openings. So down at the bottom, you're going to see, if you scroll down, you're going to see where it says links. And if you click on the links, those are going to take you to a lot of different things that we have, and how to apply or create an account. That's the first thing you want to do. You definitely want to go out to the state of Illinois site, and you can click there to get there. And then you're gonna when you click there, it's going to take you to a site that if you scroll to the bottom, it'll have find your next career opportunities with the state. And then if you scroll to the bottom of that, you're going to see join our talent community, sign up now. And that's where you're going to click. You're going to click there, you're going to enter your email address, and then you're going to click there, and it's going to take you to where you can fill out your own profile. And I would advise you to, if you're wanting any job with the state, of course, we want you to come to the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. But for any job with the state, that's where you get started at. That's how you start. You make that profile, and it'll give you information. It'll ask you like your email address. It'll ask you to upload a resume. It'll get all your information, and it will get you a way to start applying for those openings. And if you would like to apply for some things that you may need to talk to a counselor at, there's also different things that you can click on there where you can get to, you can make an appointment with a counselor with the state of Illinois. If you're just not sure what type of openings you should be applying for or what you should do, sometimes that's the best way to go about it. But for the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, you can definitely go out to our site, and on the QR code, it takes you right to our openings. We do have a lot of we have openings that are from clerical all the way to specialized. We have a lot of grant management. We have executives, and we also have associates. We also have clerical. So, I mean, we have the whole gamut of the state of Illinois from the top to the bottom. So there's lots of different things out there that you can definitely apply for. Currently, we have a few openings. And here's the thing I want to tell you about the state of Illinois and the openings, and when you're out there looking. You're going to see what's called a job bulletin. And on that job bulletin, when you go out to look at the openings, you're going to see, yes, if we go back to our job postings and view the openings, you're going to see the different openings that we have. And in those, when you click to see the actual job bulletins, like I said, those are what's going to be your key to what you need for that position. It's going to tell you everything from what the title is to what the closing date is. And you need to pay real good attention to what the closing date is for the state of Illinois openings, because once that date gets here, they're gone. So you can't apply past that time. It will tell you if it's full time, if it's what type, how many vacancies there are. When you see the type of plan or bargaining unit, that tells you if it's a merit comp position or if it's a union position. If you ever see like an RC, that usually means that it's a union position, okay? Then you're going to see the posting identification number, and that's what's called a requisition number. And that's going to be something that I write down and keep somewhere with the title, because that tells you what position that you actually applied for. Then as you look at those job requisitions, you're going to see, the first thing you're going to see is a position overview, which is going to talk about the agency that it's with. It's going to kind of talk about what they're looking for. It'll kind of give you a good summary of what type of position that this is. And then as you go further down, you're going to see job responsibilities. And in the job responsibilities, it's going to tell you what the duties are, what they do daily. Basically, it kind of gives you a good idea of what you would be doing if you were going to apply for this job. And then what you're going to get to is minimum qualifications. And the minimum qualifications are really what you need to pay attention to when you're applying for any state job, because the minimum qualifications are basically like disqualifiers. Like if you don't have this type of experience, then you would be disqualified right from the get-go. So the first thing to do is look at those minimum qualifications and see if it's something that you may have. Like for example, I'm looking at one currently, and it's for an executive 2. Now that's that title, that isn't every title that we have, but this is one of them. And the minimum qualification for that job requires knowledge, skill, and mental development equivalent to completion of 4 years of college, preferably with courses in business or public administration. Now, preferably, I mean, if you have a 4-year degree, you could go ahead and apply for that. Preferably, we probably need somebody with a little bit of business experience. But, if you had some other type, I mean, you have a 4-year degree, that's the minimum qualification for it. They're preferring. So you got to really watch those key words that are in those job requisitions. Now, this one also says that they require 2 years responsible administration experience in a public or business organization. So, in other words, when you're looking at those job requisitions, what you really need to pay attention to is those minimum qualifications. I would read those first and check to see if you meet the minimum qualifications for that job, because that's kind of like the kicker for it. Then when you scroll down, you're going to see other things. You're going to see maybe specialized skills or preferred qualification. Now, preferred qualifications is something that they would prefer to have. It's not something that's going to disqualify you. So what you really need to do is just really look at your minimum qualifications as well as your conditions of employment, because that's the conditions of employment are things that are things that you have to have. You have to be able to meet those requirements in order to have a good interview with that job. Okay. And then you're going to get your agency overview down at the bottom. And like I said, we're with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. We have a lot of different things for taxpayers, businesses, workers. We're trying to get a skilled workforce, that we can work with to make sure that everything that we do for the state is taken care of. Now, in all the job, most of the job requisitions, they'll tell you at the bottom how to apply, what to do. It even gives you like the information on how to do it. But the best thing to do is to go out and create that profile with success factors, because that is how you're going to apply for any of the state positions. And on top of that, they'll send you emails every week to tell you the different things that are open. So that's just going to help you work on getting that position with the state. If you sign up for that, you'll be able to see all of the different job openings that the state has. And like I said, we have a few different openings currently, and I can definitely go through those with you guys and let you know what we have out there. We're real happy that you're here to listen, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to just come and listen to the things that we have. We really do appreciate that. And like I said, I do have a Q code where at the end where we can put that up so you guys can see it. And possibly like you can just save that in your photos. If you save it in your photos, then it will take you straight to Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities job openings all the time. You can just click it, it'll take you right to our openings and tell you what we have. So let's get to it. So I'll tell you some of the openings that we currently have. Okay. So I'm going to start with, we have a couple of industrial, they're called SBDC network coordinators, industrial and community development representative 2s. Okay. We have 2 of those positions. We have one that's in Cook County, and we have one that is in Sangamon County. For that job, they talk about the different things that you would be doing. And it's basically in the small business office, and they support entrepreneurs through providing information, confidential, professional business guidance, training, and other resources to start up existing small businesses. So the position is really trying to help review and monitoring compliance. And there's a lot of different things that go along with that, but the minimum skills for that requires knowledge, skill, and mental development equivalent to the completion of 4 years of college with a concentration in one or more of the fields: industrial development, business administration, economic geography, marketing, economics, or related field. Appropriate business experience may be substituted for college on a year-for-year basis. So what that means is if you have been working in one of those fields already for more than 4 years, that could be used instead of that degree. Also, it requires 2 years professional experience in the minimum in the field of industrial and or community economic development. So those are the two minimum skills needed. And then the employment conditions are a driver's license, ability to travel with some overnight stays, as far as the ability to meet the travel requirements of the position on a regional or statewide basis to conduct site visits, meetings, and presentations. And it also requires the ability to pass a background check. So that's one of the openings that we have. And like I said, if you go to our site, you can actually see that job bulletin and see what the actual requirements are. We also have an executive 1 that is in Sangamon County as well. Also, just so you guys know, the salary is also on those job bulletins. So it will tell you, and it'll tell you the anticipated monthly salary. So that's going to be the bottom to the top. So it will give you a range of what that salary is. And that range is going to depend on what type of, I mean, if you, most of the time you're going to be starting in at the bottom of the range, and then you'll make your way up to the top of it. Unless you have a lot of experience, that's usually the way it's going to happen. But they have some leeway depending on what type of experience that you have. This is also in Sangamon County. It is a union position. So just so you're aware of that. And let's see, for the actual minimum requirements for that, it requires knowledge, skill, and mental development equivalent to 4 years of college, preferably with coursework in business and public administration, economics, and sociology. The second minimum requirement requires 1 year of responsible administrative experience in a public or business organization or completion of an agency approved professional management training program. Okay. And then it also has some preferred qualifications, but the conditions of employment, which again are the things that the things that you really need to look at are the minimum qualifications and the conditions of employment. Of course, if you have the preferred qualifications, that's going to help you secure that job, but it's not, they're not disqualifiers, in other words. So what you really want to look at is your minimum qualifications and your conditions of employment, because those are the things that are disqualifying. So, and with that, there's a driver's license, travel with some overnight stays, and completion of Roma 101 certification. So that's something that they would help you obtain once you got in. Completion of 101. Okay, so then that's for the executive 1. That, like I said, is in Sangamon County. The last day to apply for that is actually today. So if you are interested in that position, I would definitely go out to our website today, get yourself set up with that account. Like I said, make sure you put your have your resume ready to upload and just get your account all set up so that you are able to apply for that. The last one that I was talking about for the ICDR2, that one doesn't close until 11/23. So you've got a little bit of time on that one. Okay, so the next one that we have is an office associate option 2. That position is in Cook County. It is a union position, and for the office associates, they're going to have minimum qualifications of high school and 2 years of office experience and the ability to type 45 words per minute. The condition of employment is going to be the ability to pass a background check. So that's one of the openings that we have currently, and that's open until tomorrow. I'm not really sure how many people are on here from Cook County, but if you are, then that's where you can definitely put your application in for that one. The next one that we have is an Asia Pacific Trade Specialist. That position is, let's see, it's in Cook County as well. It is a term position. So when you see like a term position, that means that you're guaranteed the job for so many years, most of the time 4, and then you can they can redo another term possibly. Okay, so that's what that means. As far as the minimum qualifications for that job, it is an Asia Pacific Trade Specialist. So it requires 4 years of college, preferably with courses in marketing, international marketing, business administration, public administration, or economics. It does require experience, prior experience to 3 years of progressively responsible administration experience in a public or business organization. As far as the conditions of employment, background check, driver's license, ability to travel extensively, including domestic and international, to fulfill the duties. Require the ability to work at various times outside the normal office hours to meet a deadline or communicate with clients, partners, colleagues in different time zones. And it requires the ability to work some overtime. We do have another trade one coming up, and I believe it's in Europe, but that will be coming up shortly. So if you keep checking our posts on our board, you're going to see the different openings that we have. And we do have quite a few different agencies within the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. So you're going to see different types of things. From weatherization specialists to, like I said, to clerical. We have clerical as well. We have different positions, and they like I said, it's the whole gamut. The next job opening that we have, okay, I'm not sure if I said, for the Asia Pacific Trade Specialist, again, that end date is on 11/15, so that's today. So if you're interested in that position, please go out and set up your account and get yourself applied for that position today. The next position that we have is an accountant advanced. That is a union position. It is in Sangamon County. And as far as how to apply for that, again, on that job requisition, it's gonna direct you to that state website that's at the bottom of our, where the links are, and you're going to upload, all of your information and fill out your resume and things like that. Now, this position is the minimum qualifications for it are 4 years of college with courses in business administration and public accounting. The preferred qualifications, your conditions of employment, sorry, I'm going to go to that first. Your conditions of employment must pass a background check. And you've got to have 4 years of college for that one, business administration and accounting. And then you've got to have 2 years professional experience in accounting, external auditing, budgetary planning and control, or public accounting. So that one is a little bit more specific as to what they need for that position. And if you look at the preferred qualifications, it's going to give you a few more things to look at. And you always want to go, like I said, first thing, look at your minimum. Second thing, look at your condition of employment. Third is to check out the preferred qualifications. The person that has a lot of the preferred qualifications is probably going to get that job. So just definitely look things over. That's the key to everything with the state, is really looking at these job requisitions and checking out to see what they're looking for. And then you go from there. The next position that we have 2 more that are open currently. I have another ICDR representative. This one is in Cook County, and it closes on the 23rd as well. And I did go over the requirements for that one on the first job. that I went over the 4 years of college with either industrial development, business administration, economic geography, marketing, economics, things that, of that nature. 2 years professional experience in the field of industry and or community economic development. Conditions of employment are driver's license, travel with overnight stays, statewide basis that you're traveling. You're going to site visits and meetings and presentations. There's also the ability to pass a background check, which I think, pretty much any state position that you have, you're pretty much going to have to require a background check. So always be ready if you're applying for that. Okay, and then the next one that we have is the last one I've got up currently, and that is an executive 2. And like I said, we've got some things coming down that are going to be on our website. It's always updating. There's always positions. So please keep looking and keep looking at that. That check your profiles, check your emails, because once you get in there and set up an email account, it's going to start sending you all, not just our openings, but the whole state's openings. So if you sign up for that account, of course we want you to come here, but you're going to be getting an email every week with all of the positions that are uploading on the state, and there are a lot that are coming. So just keep looking at those at the website and keep checking and be dialed in and keep looking for those positions, because every day, every other day, I mean, those positions usually post for 10 days. That's usually the maximum amount is 10 days. Now, sometimes you'll see a 15-day, but most of the time, the dates that you can apply for that position are 10 days. So if you see something and you're interested, definitely put your application in, get your resume up. You'll have your resume already uploaded on there. And once you'll get information about those different plans, and you'll get stuff in the mail. It does take a little bit of time to get through the state program for hiring. So just, keep dialed in, keep looking at your email, and keep checking to see if you've gotten anything. Now, for us, once we send out because you're going to put a preferred email down, and that's where we're going to contact you at, is that email that you put down. So make sure that your email is up, that your email is working, and that you are going out to that email to check daily to see if you've received anything. And that's really, for us, what we do. And I don't know that every state agency does this, but once we send out an invitation to interview, you're going to get an email that's going to tell you need to self-schedule, and they'll give you a list of different time that you can decide which one you want. And then so you have 5 days once you get that email to respond back. So that's 5 days. That's it, 5. So just be looking at your email every day, because that's what's going to help you. And like I said, with us, we'll get to the 3rd day, we send you a reminder. If we still haven't heard from you on the 4th day, we'll try calling you just to make sure that that email has come. Not everybody can do that, because our agency isn't as big as some. So we are able to do that, and we are doing that. But that doesn't mean that all of them are going to do that. So, it's really important that you keep watching that email once you do apply. Now, it can take a while. It depends. There's a lot of things that go on. There's a lot of approval that we have to get a job through. There's things that have to go through CMS to make sure that we get approval to post a job, and then they have to look at the candidates, and they have to make sure that we have selected the right candidates, based on the application and all of that. Just really look at and here's another thing I can tell you as well. Let me get to this last job, and then I'm going to give you a couple of tips as far as when you're filling out that application, because that application can be really key in whether you get that actual call back, for an interview. We have people that will fill it out and not explain. So that's what I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over a couple things to help you as far as when you're filling out that application. Okay. So now, when you get to the last opening that I'm going to talk about today is the Executive 2. It is in Sangamon County. This is a new one. It is a union position. Sorry, I'm like stumbling on myself today. And then basically for this position, there are going to be, let's see, minimum qualifications of 4 years of college, preferably with courses in business or public administration, and then 2 years of responsible administrative experience in a public or business organization. The conditions of employment: driver's license, travel with some overnight stays, ability to pass a background check. So those are some of the things that we're going to have opening. And like I say, please keep coming to our page. Please keep looking, because like I said, we have things that are coming down today. We have things that are going up tomorrow. So we're always going to have a constant set of things going up and coming down. So always be checking it out. That is salaried full-time. It is a union position. It is in Sangamon County. And that one closes on 12/5. So you have a little bit of time if you want to apply for that one. As far as some of what we talked about, the tips for applying, when you're filling out that application, okay? When you're filling out the application and it says performs, okay, so let's just look at one of these. We'll look at the preferred qualifications for the Executive 2. Okay, I'm going to look at that, and then I'll tell you some of the things that it may say. It will say this job prefers 2 years experience, professional experience in developing and making public presentations and providing training and or technical assistance to grantees. So if you have that experience, if you say yes, it will say, do you possess this experience? And you're going to say, if you have that experience, you're going to say yes. Now, here's the thing. When you say yes to that, make sure that underneath there's going to be a follow-up question. Those follow-up questions are very, very, very important, okay? Especially if you have that experience. In those follow-up questions, they want you to tell them where you got that experience from. Please do not put C resume, because when they go through to check your resume to see if you have that experience, and you have, say, 7 jobs on there, and if you don't specifically say where it's at, and it doesn't specifically say where you got that experience, or it doesn't have those keywords in your resume, you really need to make sure that when you're filling out your application with the state and you're answering those questions, just be very specific about where you had that experience at. Where did you get it? So for example, if you were somebody who worked in benefits or something, and it said, we want to know if you've ever had any experience in onboarding. So then you could come back and, say you've had a job with, somewhere, and you say, I worked at this place from this date to this date, and I had primary experience with onboarding. I would help, just be real specific about what you're saying in there and letting them know how you got that experience, because that's going to make a big difference on whether you get that interview or not. And a lot of people will just put C resume on there, and that's not going to help you with getting that specific job. You need to be specific about what your experience is and how you got it. And be sure to answer all of the questions. be on the application. Make sure you read, then reread, and make sure that you that you answer the yes or no, and that you tell them, if you say yes, make sure you put down the specific experience of where you got that out, because that will help you in the end. Okay, so those are the openings that we have currently. And like I said, there's quite a few coming up and going down right now. We'll have more. So just keep looking. We would love to have you apply to come to our agency, of course. And as far as the state goes, the biggest thing I can tell you about that is just making sure that you go and you apply for those positions, or that you go out and you start that by making that first step by getting your profile up, because that's what's going to help you. Number one, profile. Start there. Get your profile up, get your resume together, and put that on there. And then it will be, once you get through that first experience of doing that, then it becomes a lot easier, because everything is out there, and it's, you write down your password and your ID, and you can get back in there and look for your openings, and it becomes a lot easier to apply because everything's at your fingertips to do it from there. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any questions?
Fantastic job on that presentation, Anne. And just wanted to reiterate a few things here. If you do have any questions for Anne, feel free to enter those into the chat, and of course we'll get a response for you. Additionally, I have put a direct link to the Department of Commerce's employer booth in the chat. As you'll see on your screen here, if I scroll to the bottom, as Anne already covered earlier in her presentation, a lot of great links here, including how to apply and create an account, a link to look at the current job postings, that DCEO currently has available, and then even a link to their landing page as well. So take a look at that employer booth link that I have there in the chat. That'll get you direct access to all the links that Anne covered here today. And we did get one question thus far in the chat. This individual asks, what is the approximate turnaround time to hear back if you qualify and if you have an interview? Can you give them just a rough idea?
I would say probably, I would say looking at like about 6 to 8 weeks usually afterwards. So like I say, keep checking those emails every day. Once we get through the app, once we get through everything, a lot of times we have to do what's called a SME review, which is where we go out and look at their actual resumes and look at those questions. You know, I told you for those questions to make sure that you look at those and answer them specifically. There's somebody that automatically has to go through every application, look at what you said in your questions, pull up your resume to see where that experience is at. So, you know, the best thing, the best advice that I can give you is just be real specific on those applications. Make sure your resume is updated with all of the experience that you have. You know, and you know, if you ever have questions or need help, you know, we're there to help you. There's always going to be also in those resumes or in those job descriptions, there's going to be an email that you can email to if you have specific questions about any job. On any job with the state of Illinois, there's going to be a contact number. So if you have questions about anything specific, definitely contact us. We're happy to answer your questions anytime. And we are going to be in person job fair 2 days from now on Thursday from 1 to 3:30 in Springfield at the IDES Workforce office. Just trying to get our openings out there again and let people know about us, because you know, we're trying to attract as many candidates as we can. And we definitely look forward to seeing you guys all there. And we'll be happy to help you get to that. You know, they're going to have some computers set up so that you can, we'll help you get those set up and ready so that you can go out and apply for those state jobs that you want to apply for. So
Awesome
definitely look
information.
forward to seeing you.
Awesome information. Thank you. And we did get another great question in the chat here too from an audience member. They asked, are the interviews virtual or in person? And can you give an idea of what the interview process might look like?
Okay, so that depends on the actual interviewers. They determine if they want to do a WebEx or if they want to do in person. And we have both. We had an opening recently for a manager that they wanted in person. So they did in person downtown in Springfield. So when you get the email back telling you that you are going to have an interview, it will tell you in that email that if it's going to be in person or if it's going to be a WebEx. It will tell you the nature of that interview when you get that email back. It'll tell, and you get to pick your times. But yes, we do both. So it just depends on that those interviewers, what kind of time they have. Usually you're going to meet with some of the heads of that department is usually who you're going to be speaking with. When you go into your interview, they're usually going to have about 10 questions for you. 10 to 12 questions, sometimes less, but most of the time around 10 to 12 questions. And those questions are going to be the questions that they're going to ask you to see what type of experience that you have. So be ready to list that experience. I mean, really look at your preferred qualifications. Be thinking about, okay, do I have this type of experience? When did I have that? Because that, like, honestly, I could not reiterate this enough. That job description is really giving you all kinds of keys as to what they're looking for. What type of questions you might get in that interview. So really look that over. And like, when we send you an email with saying that you got an that you have an interview, like I think the rest of the state places do it, but we actually send you the job bulletin along with that to show you this is what we're interviewing for, so you can see what it is and what all we were looking for before you come in. But like I say, they're going to sit down with you. They're going to ask you about 10 or 12 questions. They're going to check to make sure that your responses on those. They do have specific questions that are uploaded before they even interview somebody. So they have a specific set of questions before you even go into it, but before the job requisition. I mean, as the job requisition is being created, usually the hiring manager will come up with a list of questions to try to guide them to the candidate that they want for that specific opening. So they're going to be asking, and like I say, if you look at that job requisition, it's going to give you some really clear indications of what they're looking for. So just, that's your key. Look that over, study it. See, start thinking to yourself, okay, where did I have this experience at? If somebody asked me what experience I had, can I list that off? Just be looking at that, because that's really going to help you get through that interview and answer those questions and nail that interview like you want to. Any other questions?
Like we did get another question kind of that was
yeah, I see that.
Chat.
The Rutan is no longer in process. The interviews are no longer Rutan. So yeah, that process is I think they've been done with that for about 6 months now. But yeah, I think last January they stopped doing that. So they're just regular interviews now.
Excellent. Thank you, Anne. And Anne, just, want to ask a few questions that I do have for you here on my end as well. So,
Sure.
as far as opportunities for advancement within the organizations, is there anything that you'd like to touch on? Maybe any sort of success stories that you'd like to give folks an idea of what kind of the scale of opportunity is for working, not with just the Department of Commerce, but for the state in general?
The state has a lot of opportunities. It really is a good place to work. Um, there's there's a ton of different, I mean, once you get in, okay, so if you were to come in as a union member, okay, so if you apply for the union positions and you get a union position, after 6 months, you start out with 6 months. Once you get 6 months in, then you become certified. And then you can start applying for other positions. I mean, you can go to other agencies. Once you get in the state, you have a multitude of different things that you can do and different places that you can apply. You don't have to stay with just one agency once you get in the door. You can go to different agencies. Now, our agency, we have people that have been there for quite some years, like 30 years and more. I'm sure there's more other people that have that too, but that tells you something. And once you get in that position and you can move, you would get to a new position. So say you got a promotion. Okay. So you're certified in your thing and another position comes up and maybe it's a promotion. You go to that, you apply for that and say you get that position. Then 4 months, then you get certified again in that position. You can go up once you get in the door. It's just getting in the door. Then you have a lot of different opportunities for you as a state employee. And I don't know if you know or not, but the state has really good benefits for your family and for yourself. There's a lot of different benefits that come along with being at the state. And I enjoy working here. I've only been with Commerce just since August. But like I guess I mean honestly, like just walking in the door here was like a breath of fresh air for me. The people were wonderful and nice, and they welcome you, and you know it's just been, and for me, like my manager specifically has been so supportive in everything. Making sure that I have the tools that I need to get my job done. Making sure that anything, just checking with me and saying, do you have everything you need? And I think that Department of Commerce is that way. It's just a great place to work. I mean, people here really care about each other, and it's evident in the way that they treat you. So I think that's why our organization is top notch, and I'm going to tout it all day long. I've only been here since August, but in that short amount of time, they've definitely hooked me in for sure.
Awesome information. Thank you, Ann. We did get another question there in the chat, if you can check that out.
Sure. Oh, the different application process for a person with disability. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, there are things in line for disability, and there are different things that you can do in your application. It will ask you different questions, and you can definitely put on there that you are disabled and upload the different things that they need, and it will help. So definitely check out, the positions and see if there's anything that you are interested in applying for. And definitely make sure that if you want to, note that, and there are lots of different things that we can do, and we welcome that, of course.
Excellent. Thank you, Ann. And Ann, I want to go ahead and turn things back over to you just to kind of give a brief summary statement, if you will, a takeaway for folks that are tuning in or might be tuning in at a later date before we close out the session here today.
Yeah, I just can't reiterate enough that we're out here and we're trying to find good candidates, and, just, and even if it's not with our agency, of course we want it to be with our agency, but the first step is getting out on that website and just creating that profile. It's not going to hurt you. It only take a few minutes. You can get your resume on there, and then you go from there. And that's the first step in just getting it taken care of, is getting out there and creating that profile. Of course, like I say, we want you to come to us. So, we're going to make sure that you have all of our openings. But, once you create that profile, you're going to get openings from everywhere. So, all the state plans, you can set it. You can put, I only want openings in Sangamon County. You can say, I want to be in Southern Illinois. You can tailor that to what your needs are as well, for what jobs you have popping up. So, like I say, just go out there and get that done, because that's your first step on getting a job with the state. That's your first step on getting your resume to us so that we can look at it and possibly get you in the door somewhere here.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Anne. And with that, again, just a few things that I want to note here before we wrap up the session. The session has been recorded today, so if you'd like to go back and review any of the information that Anne covered here today, we will be uploading that to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel under the virtual job fairs playlist within about 48 hours of the conclusion of this event, or so at the latest. So keep an eye on that YouTube channel, and we will have the video uploaded there. Additionally, assuming you registered for the event here today, we did capture that information obviously on the back end, and we will be forwarding that on to our partners over at the Department of Commerce for review. So know that they will be receiving your contact information for leads generated from that registration page. Aside from that, I want to give a huge shout out to Anne for taking time to meet with us today. And again, I'd like to thank all the job seekers as well on the line for attending the virtual job fair. Again, you can find the Department of Commerce's employer booth on Illinois WorkNet at the link that I provided in the chat. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you so much.